Hey guys, it's Howitzer here, and man, is the new Thor Ragnarok trailer from Marvel simply amazing. This movie is the culmination of two incredible Marvel stories from the comic books. Both Ragnarok itself and Planet Hulk rolled into one movie. Unfortunately, with the rights to the Hulk being up in the air between Universal and Marvel, Marvel can't use the Hulk in solo films, so that's why we're not seeing him in his own Hulk universe movies, but he's able to be joined with teams or cameos in other movies, so it looks like Marvel's going to take this opportunity to give us the Planet Hulk storyline rolled up into the Ragnarok storyline. Now for us fans, this is going to be double the fun because we're going to get both stories rolled up together with both of the toughest badasses on the Avengers team in the same movie. Now both of these guys were absent during Civil War, mostly due to the fact that whatever team had Hulk would have won too easily, so we finally get to see just exactly what they've been up to, other than those hilarious Thor clips of him and his roommate online. Now before I go on, I want to take a moment to explain exactly what Ragnarok is in the comics. Just so you don't get confused, there is a character named Ragnarok who is actually a clone of Thor that was created from a strand of his hair. Now that is not who we're looking at here. What we're actually looking at is the act of Ragnarok itself. There are a group of gods that are so old and ancient that no one in Asgard even knows of them. Not even Odin. However, Odin does learn of them eventually, but not without paying a price. He has to sacrifice his eye in order to learn of these gods, or what they go by in the comics as the ones who sit above in shadow. These gods live in an endless death and rebirth of the realm of Asgard and actually feed off of the process. Some even say that this might be because they are no longer worshipped and they've had to choose this form of energy in order to sustain themselves. Now each time Asgard would enter Ragnarok, an apocalyptic battle in which everyone would die would ensue, only for everything to be reborn again in an endless cycle. No one would know of the past events except for Odin, and even then he would only know after the sacrifice of his eye. It was said that Odin believes that Thor can end the cycle, so he sends Thor to live on Earth in order to confuse the mad gods. During the last Ragnarok, Thor sacrifices his own life in order to gain the wisdom of Odin, and with this wisdom, he learns of those who sit above in shadow and is able to confront them and even defeat them, thus ending the cycle of Ragnarok. So now that we know what Ragnarok is, let's jump back to the trailer. First off, we see frickin' Mjolnir being destroyed by Hela, who looks amazing, especially when you see her in her helmet here. Now let's not forget, Mjolnir has been destroyed before. The Destroyer was able to cut Mjolnir into two in Journey into the Mystery number 118, and then Molecule Man, who is just beyond crazy powerful, destroyed Mjolnir along with the Silver Surfer's board, Cap's shield, and Tony Stark's armor. And then again we had Mjolnir destroyed once more when Thor was fighting Bor, the father of Odin. So we've seen Mjolnir destroyed 3 times in the comics already. Now we see Thor on another planet, which may end up being Sakaar from the Planet Hulk stories. We also get our first shot of Valkyrie here, and in the very next scene we see Valkyrie and others attacking Hela on their winged horses. Perhaps this is the battle in which Valkyrie is either captured by Hela or ends up working with Hela. Now we see Valkyrie here bringing Thor into the Grandmaster, played by Jeff Goldblum. Now a couple things to point out here is that first off, in the comics, Valkyrie knows who Thor is, so she may have captured him on purpose, possibly to free them of their situation. Another thing to mention here is that the role of Valkyrie in the comics, which is to lead the fallen Asgardian dead to Valhalla. This tie-in with Valkyrie and death could be the link to her and Hela, who is ruler of the dead, but let's not forget that Hela doesn't have access to Valhalla, so perhaps she's using Valkyrie to gain access to Valhalla. Now on to the Grandmaster again. He is one of the elders of the universe, so old that even their origins are lost to time. These guys have existed since the very first galaxy after the Big Bang. Now, the Grandmaster is fond of games and will most likely be the host of the games in the movie, replacing the role of the Red King from the Planet Hulk storyline. We now get nice shots here of Heimdall, an Asgardian, as well as our first look at Scourge the Executioner, who is a sidekick to the Enchantress, so hopefully we get a cameo of the Enchantress in this film, or possibly this is just leading into seeing her in the next Thor movie. And of course we see Loki here, the only thing being is we know how often Loki switches sides, so most likely he's going to be on the side of Ragnarok in the beginning of the movie, but who knows if he doesn't end up helping Thor later on. Now we pan out to Thor. Here we see him with short hair and a more gladiatorial looking armor, including the helmet, which is a nice homage to Thor helmets from the old comics. But then we pan over and see Hulk, obviously wearing his gladiatorial garb from Planet Hulk, complete with his warhammer and axe. I just love the reaction of Thor here. These two just love fighting each other, but we can see in the Hulk that he's much more serious than Thor here. And then we've got one more shot here of Loki and the Grandmaster hanging out on this couch. You can definitely see the distance between them on the couch, so it doesn't look like they're buddies right in this point in the film. But we do know that in the comics, Loki is always pushing towards causing Ragnarok. One last thing that puzzled me here, though, in this picture, is this guy here in the background on the left. I can't help but think that his garb looks like celestial armor. Now, I know it's not armor, but just the sheer look of it and design just screams Celestials to me. Now, I know Celestials are thousands of feet tall, but this is the cinematic universe, and for all we know, with all the power they have, who's to say they can't alter their size? If it's not a Celestial, maybe it's someone working for them. That outfit just looks too much like the Celestials in the comics for me to ignore. So all in all, the trailer is just awesome. I can't wait to see the movie and see how they fit in both Ragnarok and the Planet Hulk storylines. The trailer has a real Guardians of the Galaxy feel, with the movie being on a new planet with lots of different aliens to encounter. We even pick up with the 70s rock vibe with Led Zeppelin blasting Immigrant Song. Now I have a few questions for you guys. The first one being is, what exactly happened to Odin? We know the last film ended with Loki posing as Odin, but now we've seen set photos of him walking around Earth as a homeless guy. So we can assume that possibly he's been banished here and has had his memory wiped, but who knows? I guess we'll see more of that in the movie. If you guys have any theories on that, let me know. Another thing I'd like to point out is we've all heard that Doctor Strange is said to have a cameo in the film. And in the comics, he was able to repair Mjolnir as it was damaged. So is he going to end up doing the same thing here as well? And I'm really curious as to what role Valkyrie's going to play in the movie. Is she working with Hela by her own means, or is she forced to work with her? Or is she working with the Grandmaster? And on that note, has she picked Thor for the games to help free herself, or for some other reason? And on that note, does Valkyrie already know who Thor is? And if so, did she choose him for the games, perhaps to break up what's happening and free her and others from this? Does Hulk have an obedience chip on him, like we saw in Planet Hulk, or is he convinced to fight by other means? Will we end up seeing his wife, Kyra, from Planet Hulk, or even possibly one or two of his sons from that series? One last question I have is, are we going to see the demon god Surtur? In the comics, he was involved in Ragnarok frequently, so it wouldn't surprise me if he shows up in this movie. I know in the comics he actually fights Odin before Ragnarok, and Odin is actually killed in that battle. So will he appear in this movie as well? And that's going to be it for this video, guys. I'd love to hear what you think about the trailer, or if you have any theories to any of the questions I had, or if you have any of your own questions yourself, let me know down in the comments. I can't wait to see what you guys think about that. Otherwise, I am super excited for this one. I hope you guys are too. I just want to say thanks for watching. Take care, and I will see you next time.